are more numerous today than they were in the first centuries of the Church. It is difficult to dispute the pontiff's claims considering the ongoing day in and day out murdering, raping, burning, crucifying, enslaving, and torturing of Christians by Muslims who claim they are right to do so because their little Quran instructs them to wipe out non-Muslims, enslave blacks, abuse women, and torture animals. Such actions continue nonstop around the world and have been perpetrated right here in America as well. But in the United States, the progressives look the other way when it comes to Muslim atrocities. However, they have been more concerned about wiping out the right of Christians who simply choose not to bake cakes for unnatural or homosexual nuptials. The hypocritical left didn't even complain when a Muslim baker in Dearbornistan, Michigan refused to bake a cake for a homosexual wedding.
What's really important is getting the picture and the writing. So it's going to be me and Benny. Well, you have pictures there.
No, on the machine you have in Kroger.
In Kroger?
Yeah.
So then, what I already knew was confirmed. The left doesn't truly give a rat's behind about the general atrocities being inflicted upon individuals, but rather their so-called concern is part of an overall political agenda that is designed to undermine the ongoing operations of Christianity and even the United States of America. To put it more succinctly, the left's homosexuality victimum campaign is not about freedom at all or liberty. In fact, it's all about delegitimizing and the annihilation of Christianity. That is why, to this day, they have exhibited more concern about forcing a cake baker to go against biblical teachings than about the daily physical onslaught of murder and mayhem against non-Muslims and even aborted babies. Our magnificent Declaration of Independence points out our unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But for progressives who claim to be in support of freedom, protection of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, for a Christian is an act of aggression against homosexuals. Yet, they still remain almost mute about the horrible physical abuse homosexuals face throughout the Muslim-dominated Middle East. But for Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, Christians in America should be prevented from observing their way of life, living according to the words of the Bible they hold sacred without discriminating against homosexuals. Cook also noted, if this is all about how we treat each other as human beings, unquote, as Cook wrote, then how can we justify a same-sex couple going to a baker or photographer we know as Christian, for whom homosexuality goes against the laws of God, and demand a cake or photography for a homosexual wedding? Can Tim Cook really believe that his focus only against Christians is tolerant, wholesome, freedom-loving human behavior? Yet, on the other hand, according to a recent World Magazine report, Mr. Cook traveled to the Middle East to try and nail down deals on behalf of Apple, where homosexual activity is outlawed and punished either through hanging, stoning, being tossed from tops of buildings, or other forms of torture. The recently signed religious protection law in Indiana was a mere reflection of the federal law passed under President Bill Clinton in 1993. Like I said earlier, the protests and angst over the religious protection law is not at all about protecting victims from inequality or maltreatment of any kind. The deafening silence over the many thousands of monthly victims of Muslim-led abuse is proof of the hypocrisy of those who say that they are so concerned about inequality. A dead victim of Muslim hatred is evidence of inequality. An individual unable to persuade someone to bake a cake that is symbolically going against their religious belief is not inequality. Wake up, my fellow Americans. The rights you lose could be your own. I'm Ron Edwards.
Blowing away the myths and revealing the truth. You can continue to blow away the myths with Ron Edwards on Facebook, Twitter, and theronedwards.com.
Hey, this is Ben Armstrong, and you can catch all our show archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted financial expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known and syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live, every Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time, firsthand, from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Bob airs live every Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on blogtalkradio.com/Robert Cardoso Live, or you can choose any one of his archive shows at blogtalkradio.com/Robert Cardoso Live. That's blogtalkradio.com/Robert Cardoso Live. For complete and honest commentary on politics, finances, and culture, check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Good evening, America, and those listening around the world. It's time for the Conservative Syndicate with your host, John Matthews, self-ordained, politically incorrect, mad prophet of the airways. The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most knowledgeable activists and pundits today that together seek to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement with those seeking the truth regarding the similarities and differences between the religion of politics and the politics of religion.
Well, by getting on Larry King and telling everybody I'm a Christian, and I wasn't raised in a Muslim home.
Americans have Muslims in their families or have lived in a Muslim majority country. I know because I am one of them. As a boy, I spent several years in Indonesia and heard the call of the azan at the break of dawn. But I have known Islam on 3 continents before coming to the region where it was first revealed. That experience guides my conviction. Unless we get on our high horse and think this is unique to some other place, remember that during the Crusades and the Inquisition, people committed terrible deeds in the name of Christ.
At what point does a baby get human rights, in your view?
Well, I think that whether you're looking at it from a theological perspective or a scientific perspective, answering that question with specificity, is above my pay grade. I've got 2 daughters, 9 years old and 6 years old. I'm going to teach them, first of all, about values and morals. But if they make a mistake, I don't want them punished with a baby. As long as we've got to fight to make sure women have access to quality, affordable health care, and as long as we've got to fight to protect a woman's right to make her own choices about her own health, I want you to know that you've also got a president who's
who's going to be right there with you, fighting every step of the way. Thank you, Planned Parenthood. God bless you.
Hey, all you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America.
And now, your host, John Matthews.
Okay, hey, we're back right here on the Conservative Syndicate. Thanks so much for joining us. Hour 2 here. We're just in the process, or just in a few moments, we'll have Karen Siegemund from Rage Against the Media with us. I know she's got some people already out there on the website listening to us at theconservativesyndicate.net. And, of course, we're out there on 8 other affiliate stations right now, amongst them Red Nation Radio, Pundit Press Radio, Northern Lights Radio. Let's see what else we got out here. Well, we're on Radio Jar. We're on Spreaker. We're all over the place. And the reason we do that is because we feel it is our mission to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state. And we do that by bringing you not unbiased truth, but truth. You know, we are very biased on this program. We are conservatives. We believe in the conservative message, the conservative ideology, and the founding of our country as a Christian nation based on Judeo-Christian beliefs. But we also believe that everybody else has the right to be wrong, and they have the freedom to express their opinions, whether or not they're contrary to ours or not. But we are in the process of what we do here is educate, inform, and engage. That's what we do. We educate, inform, and engage. Something that the left does not do, and even some aspects of the right does not do, really, the way it's come these days, full circle. We have just as many Republicans today that don't want you to know what's going on because it would expose who they are also. So anyway, I've got my co-host Joe Hakos, and we had Kenric Ward with us the first hour from watchdog.org, and I'm really going to follow this website because these guys, I looked at their stuff the other day, and I think that one of the biggest things we're going to witness during the 2016 campaign is an out-and-out attack against, 1, Christianity, 2, against men, and 3, against voter integrity, because the left can't win any other way. They can't win without their Alinsky-style tactics. The idea that it's not going to be a debate about issues. It's going to be a debate about personalities. What we're going to do here, if Hillary Clinton gets elected, is we're going to elect the oldest prom queen we've ever had in the history of the United States. That's what it's going to be, a popularity contest. And I don't know how you make the biggest witch of the West popular, but if anybody can do it, the left can do it. What do you think, Joe?
I'm thinking she would have to live in California. You have no water to get rid of her. So I'm shrinking. But she would have plenty of flying monkeys, though. So that being said, let's not make it about personalities. It needs to be what her opposition needs to do is define themselves. As we've seen the last 2 elections, they've let the Democratic Party define on who the Republican candidate was, the opposition candidate was. And so that's what I would suggest is because the media, and Karen loves this, but the media will not help define who Hillary Clinton is. They certainly won't do that. Mm-hmm. That's going to have to be left up to people like you and me and that opposition candidate. They're going to have to define who she is. And by doing that, they'll be able to define who they are and without having to press the media. Now, the media is certainly going to define who the opposition to Hillary Clinton is. They're going to define that individual, whoever that might be. They're definitely going to do that. And they're going to do it gleefully. And that's why I don't believe any of this stuff when you're talking about Saturday night and all this stuff and how they were going. And they were going after Hillary. I don't believe that for a minute. There's people who have their agenda, and they're going to stick to it. They're too invested in it.
Well, we know this. We know that when you look at shows like SNL, Saturday Night Live, they're doing it for the same reason anybody else in the media does what they do, and that is that they are simply practicing capitalism. I find.
I think they're money whores.
Yeah. It's kind of